Welcome to today's edition of 3 Minute Halacha. Rav Yosef Karo, the Mechaber of the Shulchan Aruch, in Orach Chaim Siman Kuf Samech Chet, Sif Zayin rules that one of the kinds of pata babakisnin is a dough that's baked with sweetening agents such as honey and sugar. It's considered a cake, according to the Mechaber, and not bread, if the sweetness is discernible. In such a case, because it's considered like cake, the bracha would be, for such a bread, mizonot, and not hamotzi. Accordingly, Rabbi Avaji Yosef in the Chazon Avaji Brachot on page 55 rules that Sefardim are not allowed to recite a motzi over such bread with sugar or other spices that are noticeable, or even egg challah, and may not use egg challah as their lechem mishnah, their bread for the Shabbat meals. As a result of this, Sefardim use only water challah or some other non-sweetened challah for lechem mishnah on Shabbos, unless, of course, the sweetening is so minimal as not to be discernible. On the other hand, Ashkenazim follow the position of the Ramah, Reb Moshe Isserles, who rules that one can recite hamotzi over sweetened bread and even use egg challah or even chocolate chip challah if you want, as long as there's more water in the dough than the sweetener in the dough. So what's a Sephardi to do if he's invited over to an Ashkenazi's house on Shabbat? What can he use for lechem mishnah? The simplest thing is to tell his Ashkenazi host to have water challah available. But if that didn't happen, we never should find ourselves in a situation where a guest, Ashkenazi or Sephardi, embarrasses a host. And in this case, what the Sephardi can do is he can wash and make a motzi as regular over the sweet challah, but make sure to eat enough of that sweetened challah, the egg challah, to be kovea suda, to establish a meal with that challah. The amount of bread necessary to eat is 4 beitzim, which is 216 grams, or about 7.5 ounces of bread. Unlike Ashkenazim, who follow the position of the Mishnah Berurah in Siman Kuf Samachet Sif Katan Chavdalet, that the food you eat along with pata babakisin is part of your kviyut suda, and therefore you could actually have just a little bit of the sweet challah and other foods to make up that 7.5 ounce measure. According to Sephardic practice, kviyut suda, establishing the meal, only is with the bread itself, with that pata babakisnin. Other foods eaten in the meal don't count towards this amount, as per the ruling of the Chidan, is Birkei Yosef and Orach Chaim Kuf Samachet Sif Vav, the Kaf HaChaim, also in Kuf Samachet Sif Katan Mem Hey, the Tshuvot Yabia Omer, and other places as well. Sefardim only use unsweetened or water challah for Shabbat. Ashkenazim, however, can use egg challah and sweetened challah as long as it isn't overly sweet, having too much of that sweetening agent mixed in with the dough.